You guys have been, let's say, busy on YouTube commenting on the last few videos regarding Archie Gray. So we've picked out a few of those comments and now we're going to react to them.
Yeah, let's get them up one sec. All right, so the first one we're going to be reacting to is Joey Kiddie Shaw 5757. He says, Kid absolutely ran the show at Stamford Bridge last season at 17 and would only go from strength to strength in Tottenham jersey moving forward. I mean, what a signing Archie Gray would be for Ange's at Tottenham Hotspur. Well, you say would be, he's now signed, so time to get excited, Joe. But look, he's very excited about Archie Gray. And look, if anyone watched that game at Stamford Bridge, I know we go on about it quite a bit about Archie Gray because that's obviously the main way a lot of people saw him. But he was just phenomenal on that day, and it was such a such an incredible display of maturity, quality, and doing that away at such a big game like Chelsea in an FA Cup, in midfield as well. That really put him on the map for a lot of people, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that they played, what, Caicedo and Enzo in the midfield that day, Chelsea?
I can't remember them. I think so.
Because Joe was on the show yesterday and he was talking about how he got the ball. There was one moment where he got the ball on the half turn and completely turned in between two players, which I believe it was Caicedo and Enzo, correct me if I'm wrong. And he completely just showed up those two that day. And you're 18 years old and you're showing up two what is essentially £100 million players. He said he made those two look amateur that day. And it just shows you how much of a no fear attitude that he does have if you can go and do that against two players that have literally just signed for over £100 million.
Yeah, incredible. Next up is from Club Gel. He says, Sessegnon, Clark, etc. seen this movie before, saying they'll rip it up at Spurs after doing well in the Championship, loaned out, then sold for a tiny amount a few years later. One of the future that never arrives, not closing the gap at all with top three signings like this. If signings were on top of 3 to 4 top quality proven signings like Eze, then fine. But with small budget as usual and 13 million plus on an 18-year-old, don't cry when next season goes nowhere. Sick of this one for the future nonsense. By the time a Gray develops, Van der Ven, Romero and Udogie will be gone to clubs who will actually compete. Then the cycle starts again. New project, one for the future. Sava got it spot on. This does not close the gap. So he's having a very negative view of this signing.
Yeah, I agree with the sense that this signing alone doesn't close the gap, but it can definitely help if we can sprinkle around some players that are in their prime now, like an ARCHIE, Eze, other players, potentially a Jonathan David or a better striker that we can get through the door. But I think when you're looking at Archie Gray, he's a player that can make an impact now and he's only going to get better in the future. To say that Van der Ven and Romero and all these players will be gone once this guy is developed. I mean, this guy is going to be playing part of the first team this season. So I completely disagree with that. And I don't understand people that aren't excited about this Archie Gray signing, because even before Spurs... this news came out on Sunday, both of us were saying, oh my God, I don't think we can get this guy. This guy is going to be going to one of the bigger clubs. He's such a big talent. And we've got him through the door, guys. We've got him through the door. Liverpool were heavily after him. Liverpool were in touch with his agents, apparently, and talking to them on a regular basis. Arsenal wanted him. Brentford wanted him. Other clubs, Chelsea, I believe, wanted him as well. This guy is a top talent.
Definitely. And I hate the comparison, it's just another session on Clark because they were signed.
It's PTSD, isn't it? It's PTSD.
It's definitely PTSD, but like, you see other clubs sign players from the Championship and it goes very well. Look at what Palace have done recently from their signings from the Championship. There's a lot of talent to be had in the Championship, and just because and also, why is it another Sessegnon or Clark? Why can't it be another like a Dele, like who signed and was brilliant for us from the Championship? Or
League One he came from.
League One. Michael Dawson we signed from the Championship and he was brilliant for a number of years for Tottenham. So there are also examples of signing players from the Championship and it going very well for Tottenham. And I hate the comparison because Archie Gray is a different player. He's not those players. Every player is different. Every player has their own story. And just because Archie Gray has come from the Championship doesn't make him any less likely to succeed than any other player. So I feel having seen him play, having known as well the gaps we have in the squad, I really feel like this is a signing that helps fill in those gaps with quality, and he's only going to improve. He's still very, very young. So yes, he's going to get time to get to his absolute best, but I'm super excited about what he's going to bring to Tottenham. And I think Of course, if this is our main signing of the window, then we have a problem. But I don't believe it will be, and hopefully this is just the start of a really strong window for Tottenham.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people. I hate it as well when people like how can you put any one player in the same category just because our last few championship signings haven't been good? It doesn't mean the next one's going to be bad. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense. Just because we've been stung a few times doesn't mean we're going to be stung again. This player has been picked by Ange Postecoglou. He fits his system, and he's got a massive ceiling. Championship Player of the Year last year, you know? Jed Spence, Joe Rodon, and Jack Clark. Maybe Jack Clark aside, but Jed Spence and Joe Rodon were all brought in for the wrong reasons. Conte never wanted Jed Spence. Jose Mourinho never wanted Joe Rodon. Ange Postecoglou wants Archie Gray. That's the difference.
Barrington Gilbert 9230 says, brilliant, we are moving on. Got a second division player. Come on, you sirs. Thank God we beat Barcelona, Man City, Man United, Chelsea, and of course Real Madrid to his signature. More of the same. Looking forward to hearing how his Burnley move is going next season. Another one, I think, tongue-in-cheek. I do think maybe... he's maybe making the point that people are going over the top about we beat this one, that one, and maybe is that all paper talk? But I do think there was a lot of talk about genuine talk about people being in for him.
There was.
Obviously, it wasn't all these big clubs, but there was a lot of big clubs that were in for him, and we did beat his signature. I don't think it should be sniffed at. It was a bit of a coup to get him, as much as it was obviously Brentford nearly getting him. There were a lot of big clubs that were looking at Archie Gray this summer, and it would have been a massive coup if Brentford were to steal him.
Yeah.
Good Beats 4665 says, let's calm down. Archie Gray not done anything in this league. His potential at best, and Fad should not expect him to set the league on fire. I wish the young man all the best.
My prediction here for Archie Gray, to all these fans, I believe it's going to be a bit similar to Dele Alli, where I think when we signed Dele Alli, no one really was expecting much. 3 million or 2 million, 5 million signings, from MK Dons in League One. Nobody really expected much. They said, yeah, he's one for the future. He's not going to make an impact this season. But then we saw him at Real Madrid, against Real Madrid in that pre-season, nutmegging Toni Kroos, nutmegging Luka Modric, playing Real Madrid off the park, who were European champions at the time, I believe. And then everyone's saying, you know what? This guy can be something special. And I think this guy is going to shine in pre-season. I think people are going to sit down and take notice of him then.
Yeah, I think he'll surprise a few people as well. I don't know if he's going to be, finish the season as a one of the first names on the team sheet, or be in the starting 11 come the end of the season. I still think that we've got a lot of good players in our team, and he's still very young, and he's got a lot of developing to do. But I think he'll surprise a few people by how much of an impact he can make, and I think he'll surprise a few people about how ready he is, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Dale Harding 3317 says, guys, love your channel. Great is okay. Bergvall is okay. Werner is shite. Signings so far don't take us to the next level to close the gap between us and the top three. Nice for years to come. But what about now? We'd like to see some quality to come in to close the gap.
Yeah, we
on,
need that.
Spurs.
We need that. No doubt about it that we need that. We need an Eberechi as a style signing. We need more in the forward line. We need more experienced heads in there as well, because when you're looking at it, the average age of the squad, if you add Bergvall and add Archie Gray in there, is very, very young. Very young. I wouldn't be surprised if we're the youngest in the Premier League going into next season. We need a few more experienced heads in there that can help us close that gap. So I completely agree with that, but that shouldn't dampen the excitement on players like Bergvall and on Archie Gray as well.
Yeah, and it's really important if we have a young team that grow together and grow as a team together. That's going to make them a lot more loyal to the club, and it's going to really help that team bonding, and it's going to help them grow as a team as well. So I think it's important to have that. But yeah, he's right. Obviously, we need players to close the gap as well. I don't think Gray by himself does that, but I think having that kind of quality plug some of the gaps, I think will do.
And by the way, it's July the 2nd, yeah? There's a long way to go in this transfer window.
Status change 6718 says, Spurs fan, live in Leeds, who are my second team, and went to half a dozen games at Ellen Road. Archie is a phenomenal talent at 18. We've done really well to secure him. Just hope we use him and he doesn't get disgruntled. This is a great signing. Way to go. Great news for Tottenham.
Yeah, completely
really
agree.
awesome.
Wholeheartedly, my friend.
Yeah. Can Shred says, Archie is ready now, believe me. Ready to play midfield. A good pre-season to learn from to learn your system is all he needs. Confident and unafraid of reputations. He's an absolute baller, and I'm absolutely gutted he is no longer a Leeds player. Happy he's gone to a club where he'll be looked after.
And I think when you're talking about Archie Gray's mentality, and when you're talking about him having no fear and that he's ready, I think it's important to note that the family that he does come from, he comes from a very football orientated family, where his grandfather was a footballer, his dad was a footballer, his uncle was a footballer, all big players for Leeds. He comes from a bit of a Leeds dynasty where they all played for them, and that can only help when you're being brought up in that kind of world, can't it?
Yeah, definitely, and that will help. Yeah, I think so, and I think that would help his development and help his experience with these kind of things as well, and who have a lot of people who you can talk to about problems he has, and they can help him get through things. Philip Wardell 775 says he displaced the Leeds captain. He's 2-footed, was man of the match against Chelsea. He's a talented player, just turned 18. He's a midfielder first, but can also play right back and left back.
Oh, I didn't realise he can play left back as well.
Yeah, and I think the inverted fullback role that we do play. We saw how Skip played a few roles games there and did quite well, and that's because it profiles quite similarly to midfielder. So I don't see why he wouldn't be able to do that job as well if need be, which is really, really encouraging. Paul G says, brilliant signing. Let's hope it's part of a wider window and filling the holes in the squad. Golden generation is a future with Spurs.
Absolutely. Come on. The future is bright. The future is lily white, my friends. And look, we've been saying that for a long time, that phrase, but I think it's actually starting to ring true now when you're looking at all the talent coming through. I mean, just look at centre midfielders and centre backs alone. A lot of these players that we've brought in are expected to go to the very top of the game. When you look at Luka Vuskovic, you look at Phillips, you're looking at Kuti Romero, Mickey van der Ven, Radu Dragusin, Pape Matasar, Alfie Devine, Archie Gray. I mean, the talent pool is just insane. It's just absolutely insane. Tyrese Hall, Dorrington, Donnelly. I mean, it's just mad, isn't it?
Yeah, the potential that we have right now, let's just hope we don't waste it, because we've seen before that we've been excited about young players and young talents, and it hasn't quite come to fruition. And I just hope now the club is in a place where we can really bring the best out of these talents and really give them a platform to show how good they can be, because that's the most exciting thing. And I'm super excited about all the talents we have, and I just hope that they all fulfill their potential, because if they do, we could build a dynasty here.
Completely agree. Class of 2024, class of 2025, whatever you want to call it.
They're gonna do Man United.
We're going to do it better than Man United with Ange Postecoglou at the wheel. But that is how you did react to the Archie Gray news over the past couple of days.